Well, happy Prosperity Day, everybody. How y'all doing? Good to see you. I'm getting everything. I know I got it and I can see it, and now everybody else can. So, welcome everybody. How are y'all doing? Hope you had a great Saturday and Sunday and you did whatever you wanted to do. When it's time for your passing, you don't want to be in that place where, it's like, if I just did that one thing. So live it to its fullest for whatever it is, and it's your journey, and you're the one that's in control. So good to see everyone. Thank you. And we just speak favor over us all as I am hitting the buttons. And sometimes the fuel on this here bus, it gotta you know make sure that the docking is right there. Anyway, hey, Lost in Space, what's up? Good to see you. Lori, hi. Dave Sullivan, what's up? Pen Greedy, Scotty Boy, hello. Ann, Timothy, good to see you. Lost in Space, Bonnie, Joyce, Robert, good to see you. Raven, going to get Raven on. Yep. Hey, Blanca, how are you doing, my dear? How are the kids? Mr. Floyd, good to see you. Amigos, good to see you. Robin, hello. All is Tom. Yeah, I can dig that for sure. Go, good to see you as well. And all the rest of y'all. I think there were a number in there that I saw in earlier. Truth Seeker, what's happening? So, Go, good to see you as well. So, Robert Garcia, good to see you. Linda Espinoza, I love that. Espinoza. Hey, Gaza, how are you doing, my friend? It is summertime there, I guess. Hope it's been a good one for you down there. Mandy, good to see you as well. So, Bonnie, what's up? Mark, hello. Good to see you, sir. And anyway, so as I take a wonderful tea. So favor is like all over us. I'm just speaking favor all over you. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Be of service to others, and spread the joy, spread the healing, spread the good vibes. That's the way I look at it. And Mondays is Prosperity Day. So, and if you got a birthday, how about you? Hey, Rebel Preacher, what's up? Good to see you, Rod. Hello, my friend. And boy, some of these are going by really quick. Paul Joe, what's up? Good to see you as well. Lots going on. I this weekend was bizarre. Something is happening in our skies. I have no freaking clue what. I mean, it's like we're not even on the totem pole. So, I mean, it's like you can't even be in the group that would know, because they ain't talking. They ain't saying a damn word. But we do know this, something be happening. Something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. Yeah, you know what I mean? And who knows, maybe as David Bowie would say, hey, Mr. Starman, what's up? And if so, may I be the first to say peace, love, make love, not war. And that's how we want to go. We don't want to be talking about right, left, what this government is, that government, because you know what? It's all insanity in that aspect. But something is a happening. Now, I don't know if these unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAPs, I believe is what they're being classified as. Lots of rumors, lots of crap flying around. What we just know that something is happening. If these are balloons, I want to go to that party, man. I mean, if your party demands that you use these super type balloons, wow, man, gotta just say, hey, man, I want to be a part of that party, right? Something is happening. So, Hello, good to see you. Just drones and balloons. Isn't it odd that, and I'm not saying it is, I'm saying it isn't, I don't know. But why balloons? I mean, folks, we're talking countries that have stealth technology. I mean, if they really wanted to gather intel, there's a myriad of other choices to be doing this in a manner in which, I mean, I'm thinking about this and I'm going, what satellite what bird is not already up there that would not accomplish the same mission? Don't know, but something is happening. I want to start this off. Hey, Stephanie, good to see you as well. Saniel, hello. Doug, good to see you, my friend. Favorite back at you. Jackie, what's up, girl? How's everything at home? Well, sending love to you, darling. London man, good to see you. What time is it over there? Like 6 o'clock, 7? Cheers to you, brother. Now, we talk a lot here about prophecy, the legitimacy of prophecy. What is prophecy? I mean, we use different modalities of divination. That, in a sense, is prophecy. I mean, if the cards, if the mirrors, the candles, the smoke, again, there's just a plethora of different type of modalities that one can use in extracting information from the future or connecting to the unseen realm. And again, if we are connected directly to the unseen realm, by the way, I have to tell you, another good book. I mean, we're going to be talking more on this one, but another one I would highly recommend, The Secret History of the World, by Mark Booth. Interesting read, fabulous read. In fact, we're going to get into that, because I think that has a lot to do with what we're going to discuss. So prophecy, is it legitimate? Again, if prophecy is legitimate, then it means that there is a superscript, a super program running on top of the myriad of others beneath it. I mean, whether you believe the matrix simulation theory, whether you believe in the creation theory, whether you believe in whatever, everything has to have a beginning of some kind, of some manner. And if it has a beginning, then by that very term, it implies that there had to have been a starting point. Now, the question becomes, is it a starting point or an ending point, or is it basically this metamorphosis of, coalescing energies, forces? I mean, all of us will be finding it out. That journey awaits all of us. We all hold a ticket. And, but most of us, I could say safely here, believe that we are consciousness. Whether we're a singularity or a fractal of the whole could be debated. But regardless, we are something of that nature. Here's a question I'd like to pose to this group of thinkers. Now, if you believe that your body is not unique in the sense of its uniqueness, the individuality, the presentation, the genetic makeup, yeah, but that's all from a template. Now, if you also have the understanding that Earth has gone through ages, One could say stages. There is the belief, if you understand the dark sun, that at one time the earth had in her womb the sun, and then it was extracted, and that's for another time, another conversation. But you understand that these are all processes. Now, it could be debated that, well, was creation an event or merely a continuation? I mean, if Earth stayed the same, which we know it doesn't, rather complex being, and I do believe it is of the feminine. I think it is the divine feminine, but nevertheless, ages, stages. It is said that in order for the animal kingdom to have existence into existence, there had to be something that began to prepare that way that was prior to that way. Well, many believe it was the plant kingdom. And if it was the plant kingdom, then that implies that there is a type of sentient life, consciousness, that exists in a kingdom. You can't have a kingdom without a hierarchy. So what does that mean? I don't know. Life in a different perspective. You know, if you believe in a single source, a beginning consciousness, what would be the first thought? And then that question I was asking, so understanding that everything has a process. Now, today, we exist off the dead. We feed off the dead. Strange reality, but it's the absolute truth. Now, you can debate that no, that isn't, or whatever. I mean, you're free to choose whatever and think you want. However, you can't deny that which is the evidence proves. Everything, even me, you, we will return to the dust, to the earth, in one form or another. We already do it. You know, you look at a lifetime, you shed enough cells in your body to create several of you. That's a weird thought. So take that to the next point in this thought, that we consume the dead. Plants grow out of the death of the previous whatever plant life. The same with biological mass like us, animals, where we are in the animal kingdom. That's weird when you think about it, because these ascensions are not something that can be done over the night. Epochs we're talking about. So we exist because we are made of the dead. Interesting thing when you think about it, that the way that our species gives birth is that we're basically kind of the embryo becomes parasitic to the host, and actually the host, which is made of the dead, is able to replicate that in a way that we still don't fully get. But it's true. Now, if that is true, then here's a question for you. Who do you have in you? Do you have, let me think of someone that we could all have an understanding. How about Vespasian? Okay, let me get something more closer to home then. How about Napoleon? How about if such an individual existed? Christ is a consciousness and a state of consciousness. But let's just play into the narrative. If you really do believe that there was this dude walking around, in which, we know that there are many individuals that walk around with messages, but if it was with the one of peace, then it means technically part of him is in us. In fact, depending on when you were born, would indicate more of what you would have in you of the past. And if you follow that thought out, it means you will eventually become food for something else. I mean, for sure, if they're going to bury you, if you go the decomposing path, then for sure you're going to be, worm food, which will eventually lead to plant food, which in 200 years, let's say they completely forgot about that was a cemetery and no one knew about it. There was a catastrophe. But anyway, in the newness of the recycling, of the rebuilding, plants began to form on top of where you were buried. Well, congratulations. At least you know you're contributing to the future in a manner that will be blended with everything else. Hello, Rod. How are you doing? Little bit of thinking on that one. I know someone's thinking, where the freak did you come up with that? You'd be surprised. I worked out in the yard all Saturday and Sunday, and it was fabulous. And you get so much meditation time. You get time to talk to the goddess. You get time to talk to the princes, the gods. I mean, they're out there. You begin to look at yourself in the perspective that where you are in the journey, that transitions always take place. You begin to realize that your part in this, I don't know who the hell's behind it, but this, I don't even know what you want to call it. I don't want to call it a game plan. I don't believe that at all. But it seems to have a direct purpose. It seems to have a direct will. And it seems to be beyond our capacity to comprehend even the thought. So, I've been reading the comments, not as I've been talking, but because that's, rather rude. Did anyone figure out what the 212 is? Because if this is true, now I've known about this for freaking decades. Right before I left my religion, it was one of the key things that have been brought to me, and as it is for many of us, we're conduits. And if you're open, then thought will come forth. It will blend with your thoughts because it's easier to accept that way. And by doing it that way, it allows you to have the most unique perspective. So if this is true, then there is a program running I don't think any of us can do anything about. I mean, we can think positive, we can think unicorns and, pink daisies and everything else. But the reality is all indications we're already in the shitstorm. Now, I lean back on the teaching because much of any religion, but I would say particularly with Christianity is an occult religion. It's one of the darkest occult religions I know of, because no one in the religion actually knows what they're talking about. They don't have a clue. I mean, all the years I knew Hilton Sutton. Many of you say, "Who the freak is Hilton Sutton?" I can dig that. But Hilton Sutton, in my opinion, now I studied under him, had the best grasp of Revelation. And he was actually the one, and I didn't really understand it, but he kept on saying that there is more darkness in the book of Revelation than there is light. Boy, did he have that right. So 212, what are we talking about? We're talking about the popes. Now, in a recent story, I'll just read this to you because I want to show this. So, Pope Benedict, as we all know, he passed away. Really odd the way that his passing was handled. So, his papers were released by his request. He did not want them released while he was still alive. So he said in his own handwriting that he never abdicated to Pope Francis. This is a big, big, big fucking deal. And this is this is what burns my ass, because this is deep occult. I mean, this is the hidden knowledge that is in play here, that the vast majority of the human races have no freaking idea what they're in store for, and the fact that they're in this hellacious force. Anyway, it says here that I'm just going to read this article to you. He said, out of Italy, an article in an Italian newspaper claims that Pope Benedict did not abdicate his title to the cardinals and was the true pope to his death. This is important. This is what the article read, translated from Italian. Let's remember one of the last messages of Pope Ratzinger. You can believe or not believe. The answer is in the book of Jeremiah. And in this book, ad voicem, the word sleep comes out. With poison, I will prepare a drink for them. I will inebriate them so that they become stunned. They will fall asleep in a perpetual sleep, and they will never wake up. And you know, Jeremiah was the weeping prophet. Excuse me, a little background on who Jeremiah was. If you don't know, Jeremiah was the last major prophet that Yahweh had sent to the children of Israel, his chosen race of humans. And, you know, because they were out just fornicating, they were out dealing LSD, mushrooms. I mean, they were bringing in all the different party gods. And Yahweh, he's a jealous son of a bitch. So he sends Jeremiah. And anyway, they didn't listen. And we know the story that off they went, off to Babylon. Okay, it says, this is clear. After all, the murder plot that came out provincially with Vitaleaks, with Marco Lillo, wrote about it in the El Fatto Quotidiano, spoke precisely about a plan to kill Pope Benedict. If he had died, the conclave that would have followed his death would have been valid. But instead, Pope Benedict acted in such a way that anyone who would be elected after him would not be a true pope. This is a big, big deal. And I'm before the Mandela effect, and I can say this. Lucy got lots of explaining to do. Anyway, says in a previous article, the paper says it was demonstrated to a scientific and incontrovertible way how Pope Benedict the 14th never abdicated and remained the only pope until the end of his life. He renounced the ministerium, the exercise of power, just as Benedict VIII did, exactly 1,000 years earlier in 1013, with the difference that Ratzinger did it in full power. This happened not by his own desire, but because of the fact that the cardinals, not having understood the Decreto, convened another conclave behind his back, even though he had not abdicated his popeship. In this manner, they dethroned him and sent him into total impeded see. You got to look at the canon number 412. This is the only canonical situation, in fact, in which the Pope may lose his ministerium while retaining his munus. In an impeded see, the Pope remained Pope, and if a new Pope is elected, this man is the anti-pope. It has been reported that Pope Benedict asked that his final book not be published until after his death. Benedict was concerned whenever he dared to speak out. Each of the essays, comprising the 190 pages, was written after Benedict's 2013 resignation. Many say he was forced. And they covered a broad range of topics, from the nature of religion to Christian Islamic dialogue to an important essay on monotheism and tolerance. He wrote, "The fury of circles that oppose me in Germany is so strong that the appearance of the slightest word of mine immediately provokes a murderous clamor on their part," Benedict wrote in his letter to Gerario. Wow. He said in his second, in this book, in the second chapter, Pope Benedict addresses the growing intolerance towards Christianity in the West, often carried out in the name of tolerance itself. He said that this would lead to an all-out, basically, civil war, a religious war in the world. So there we go. So why did I go through all of that? Well, I'll tell you why. Excuse me. Because you and I are living it. We're living it. And you know, I don't know what your position is, but I think from just an observer's point of view, you know, just looking at this in the landscape, you have to pardon me, folks. Got incense again, but this is a big deal. So let's look at a little bit as to why this is a big deal. This is the Malachi prophecy. As many of you know, or don't know, I don't know. I think it was around 1100, as you can see. This gentleman, that he was a bishop, I believe, had the vision. and was told exactly what each pope would be named, about this pope, and when his writings were discovered, of course, back then, I mean, he said the 112th pope. Now, we're going to see in here that this is weird because it came to pass exactly as he wrote it. So we got Pope Celestine II. He goes into Pope Lucas II. He'll tell you when they were born, and he wrote exactly each and every one of them. Now we can look back and go, uh-oh. And again, we can continue with all of them or not. Sometimes I'm just really this, it's like, you knew that, yet you did it anyway. We all have so much to go. Never think that you've got it so well down pat. Your other side that laughs in joy, not mockery. You'll say, I'll show you. Anyway, my point to all this is, and by the way, I have this on my Kindle, so I don't, maybe out there in the PDF land. I don't know. But I've gone through this, and again, I've studied this. I knew for decades. I mean, Malachi's prophecy was that the last Pope Ritzinger, that this is exactly how they were going to do it. Now the implications of this is so freaking broad, because for me, I struggle with the fact, okay, so we've got the Black Pope in, the anti-Pope, the Antichrist Pope that ushers in, and I know the prophecy. I know it by memory. And I don't deny that there are things that could be correlated to that, but there's also a myriad of other potential interpretations. However, when you face something like this, you have to say, all right, so what's up? Now, if you carry the narrative forward, well, this is beginning to sound like, the Left Behind series. We're being set up globally. That when the anti-pope took his throne, that he would begin to introduce new perspectives into the religion. Exactly what has happened. It also says that when this dark pope takes the throne, that the world would begin to go through birth pangs. All right, I look at it and I say, okay, well, maybe if I'm focused in on this, this is how I rationalize it. The future, they say, is not set. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I do know that when the future becomes the present, then it has the power for full manifestation. You take this substance and you form reality out of it. Now, this is obviously something going on here. I mean, I kind of look at it, all right, let's say that this is what it is. then there's some other being that's driving this. I don't know what that being is. I don't believe it's a dude on a white horse carrying a sword and going to slay billions of human beings. That's fucked up. Totally fucked up. But it seems like we, the human races, are looking like this is what we want. The world is clamoring for a catastrophe. Many are believing that a catastrophe is the only way we're going to survive this. Now, I don't know. I know what writings are, but then again, I look at it like this. Okay, I can look at this completely from, let's go and, I don't know, let's look at astrology. Tracking of the stars. I was out last night. The stars where I live at are just, they're so vivid. And I'm always drawn to Orion. And then the Seven Sisters. Now, I know this. I know that it is said that our galaxy is already in the process of encountering the first, I don't know, effect of Andromeda. I know this as well, that when I was going to school, that the sun, we were told, was on the outside, kind of like the third spiral. Now it seems that we're like freaking, halfway between there and the center of the galaxy. So there's going to be changes taking place no matter what. They say in approximately 4.5 billion years from now, it's going to be a hell of a mess here. Okay. Now, if humans are still here, if there's life still here, I mean, there's some that say because our soul was of the earth, that is why we are trapped on the earth. Which would indicate that the women are not trapped. Maybe that's why, the certain beliefs say there are no women in heaven. Don't know. But we do know this, getting back to the point, that so in 4.5 billion years, and who knows, it may be quicker than that. It's going to be a real something sight to see when you go out in the nighttime sky, and eventually it'll be in the daytime sky. But we'll be all dead. And if you believe in the washing machine belief system, then we're going to be going through the cycle again. And it's like, the agitation cycle, it's all kind of okay. It causes the waves, but you kind of get used to it. It's that freaking spin cycle that really just freaks everything out. But so now you think I have left the subject. I have not. So this kind of then begs, all right, so we've got this evil Pope, the dark Pope, ushering in, according to the mythos, ushers in, opens the portal that allows something to enter into our reality, our space, and then begin to kick our ass. And does it in such a manner that we're not even aware that we're being manipulated. We're just going to kick anyone's ass. Anyone that disagrees with us, we're going to go out and kick their ass. And if the spirit realm, wherever this thing is opening this portal, and I'm kind of just paraphrasing what all the verbiage is. I mean, you think about it. You got the whore of Babylon. You got Rome ascending to, as in the book says, the narrative, back into its position. Well, you got to ask yourself, well, then what position was it before this? Well, we've got the evidence of what it was, but what we now know, it goes further than that. So, last pope. I mean, this, if you look on a psychic level, because religion impacts our psyche. No matter what you say, no matter if you're a nihilist, an atheist, whether you're, whatever, you can't, you're a part of something. I mean, no one person is an island unto themselves. It's within our nature. We may not like anyone, but we want to be around everyone. Just don't come in my part, but hey, you can have it's just how we are. But all right, so the prophecies of the dark sun. Now, one of the things it says that we'll start seeing things up in the sky. Well, I don't know if you're a UFOologist, this is what you've been waiting for. How many other stations? I think Bruce sees it all. I love his videos. He has shown in multiple videos of his telescope aimed right there on the moon, something is happening up there. And so let's go back to Tiamat. Let's go back to the water world. I mean, how far back do we want to go? So should we be freaked out that what is about to unfold itself, manifest in its full magnificence, its glory? I don't know. Seems to really have a big ego that it really wants to make a scene. And then the question becomes, look at what's happened to us. There's also a prophecy says that we would know at this time of Aquarius, when we're transitioning from this one part of the wheel to the next, that it's never just a smooth handover, man. It's almost feels like sometimes a hostile takeover. It's tumultuous. I believe there is a certain phrase that says it's like a woman who's in the middle of birth travail. As the labor pains become more, more intense and frequent. Yeah. Now you carry that over into a spiritual or an esoteric world where you look into the ethereal realm, then that tells me, just me, y'all have your own opinion, but this just tells me there's a fucking war going on, folks. Hear me out. This is no playtime. I don't think there's any ascension going on. You want to know why? You can't pass the border guards. There is a war because what's about to manifest here is usually the result, a delayed result of what's happening in the ethereal realm. Which tells me, now I don't know if this battle is just a local neighborhood thing, where we just got the gangs here. We're all part of the gang. I'm with Spanky and his gang. I'd really like to get to know you, but anyway, I digress. You see, that's what's in my reality is singing. Yeah, I don't want this fucking war. I don't want to be a part of it. No one seems to have the ability of common sense. But getting back to this point, now I don't know how long this war was. I read years ago from a seer, and she was saying that we were in a lull. But, and she has since passed over, she said that don't get used to it. She wrote that she said, when it begins to manifest, she said, in essence, it's like the first wave. What she says follows will be that of which we have read in the myths, the legends. She said that they will become true. She said that the horror that we would experience as humans on this earth, we will be completely ill prepared for. Completely. Now, you got to ask yourself as well, all right, so we've got the billionaires, the 100 millionaires, what have you. You can't find a bunker. They're all going underground, and that was spoken about as well. So if everything is in a cycle, and they talk about the dark sun, are we about to enter in? Is something about to enter into our solar system? It's probably more likely we're entering into its territory. And if everything is cyclical, and if there that outside theory that we just haven't discovered it, because we don't see all, is there truly a binary twin of our star? And if everything is cyclical as we go through the helix view, we're going into space that we have not seen before. Now, maybe on such a large progression of the grand procession, maybe we saw it, I don't know, 26,000 years ago. I can't believe that's the case, because that would then indicate that we are stuck in a region of space. And if everything is moving, as it says, they tell us everything is moving at these great rates of speeds, these huge objects that are just mind-blowing, going through space at these rates, then it's logical to believe that we're going to enter into places of this universe. We have no fucking idea what's going to come. And maybe it's like pockets. Maybe we have found these times before. But getting back to this battle, if it's picking back up, I don't think any of us were prepared to see that. I mean, I was deep in meditation as I was doing some pretty serious yard work, but I had to begin to ask myself, I love conversations with myself. And I said, how would I know that if I met the goddess? How would I know if I met a god? And I said to myself, the only thing that I know for sure, and I don't even know what my soul looks like, but if I had only the representation of that which was something before that's in me now, then I'm looking at my own reflection and I'm looking at God. I don't know any other God. I only know this God. But anyway, I digress. So if this battle, and maybe they were kind enough, I don't know how merciful they are, but maybe they threw us a bone. Said, all right, you dumbasses, this is what you need to look for. We're not going to give you the whole story, but we'll give you enough that where you should be able to be smart enough to figure out, and so if you got some dude that wrote something like 500 years ago and the thing comes to pass, holy freaking freak. I mean, what the hell do we do with that now? It's nuts. And so that's what this show's about, 212. Oh, crap. I mean, it's the only thing that shows that something is afoot here. It's interesting. The more and more people that we have an opportunity to speak with, we don't even have to talk about it. And it's real interesting. We have some acquaintances where there's one individual who doesn't want to talk about this. They get physically ill. Now, at least they're honest. They're afraid. All right, Paula, that just cracked. I don't know what that is. Yes, men, nuts, squirrels. I had this picture of a rabid squirrel, going up some guy's pant legs, and and you can fill it out for the rest of yourself. Hey, Chris, how you doing, darling? Good to see you. I owe you some emails, but that's all right. I'm catching up on them. Hermes, what's up? Hey, Mary Wins, how are you? Good to see you. But and we sit here and laugh, and it's to me precious. This is priceless. Yeah, I stare at myself, that guys, there you go. That's the only God I know, is the one I see. And talking to this camera, but I'm connected. Hey, dirty, filthy money. See how you doing? Troublesome. Yahweh, do you hey, John, good to see you as well. Oh, Jargo, that just cracks my ass up. Anyway, Musgrave, what's up? So anyway, let's get back to this thing. I mean, are we about to experiencing something in the sky? I mean, is it a celestial event? We got this green comet, that and I think it could really be seen two different ways. I looked at it as a prosperity comet, but it could easily be interpreted just the other way. Death cometh by a pale green horse. And that's what comets primarily are, a pretender to bad times. I don't know. I saw Halley's Comet. I saw Hale-Bopp. I thought Hale-Bopp was just a cool comet. How many of y'all remember seeing Hale-Bopp back in the day? So, yeah. And if you look at documents, because we're so, in many ways, let me just see. Let me get this one. So always we talk about, Nibiru. And when we talk about time, we really don't have any grasp of it. I mean, we all have our own imagery of what our imagination, but really, I mean, unless it's within your own lifetime, talking about the past, unless you experienced something in that past, is the past. Anyway, I found this one, events before the deluge. Always the, antediluvian world, which there was. So, it makes sense that if Earth was pregnant at one time, it would be huge. And let's say it gave birth to the sun. There's another occult theory that says that really what's happening, creation never stopped. We are but one dimension that we have been given birth into another dimension. And behind us are being birthed other yet to be defined dimensions. That's what creation does. It does not stop with just a single dimension. And no matter how far you want to project out as to what those dimensions are, you can't. It's hard to grasp something that's being injected into your dimension. Well, that's pretty freaking deep. Bet your ass, and we all need a ladder so we can get the hell back up, So it says here, Nibiru, a distant member of our solar system. Life faces slow extinction as the planet's atmosphere erodes, deposed by Anu, the ruler of Al-Ahalu, escapes in a spaceship and finds refuge on Earth. He discovers that Earth has gold that can be used to protect Nibiru's atmosphere. This is Stitchin. This is supposedly from the Sumerian tablets. Dr. Noah Kramer, although would interject that we have taken a play of the Sumerians, of their belief systems, and we have translated them into a real event. Now, one of the things I was taught in Bible school was that much of the Bible is allegory. Well, that becomes real clear as mud. But if Enki, Anu, Anunnaki, if they were in fact here, prior to the Indus Valley, you only got Mesopotamia. But we know that that can't be true because there were other regions of the world. I've asked, and I did a video 5 years ago on the 10 gods. There were 10 gods that arrived here. We call them gods. They're just superior consciousness. Their supposed immortality is an illusion, but they see time in a different frame, so they would live a lot longer than we do. Of course, then that says, who's ruling on the other side? That's another discussion for another day. But anyway, so Enki, Enu, Enlil, are we seeing their return? Because no matter what you want to believe in the Bible, here's the problem with the King James Bible. It's a fraud. It rewrote the story and removed what they did not want to have to address and have to deal with because it interfered with the chronology of the narrative. But even their patron saint came from Sumer. How the hell you explain that? And then it gets even more complicated because either in their very book, and why, by the way, well, how did this warrior god Yahweh become Jesus Christ's daddy? We got a conundrum here. So even in the book of Zechariah, talks about Sumer, talks about flying saucers, says that the pilots were women. Well, who are these humans? And the angel talking to Zechariah, Zechariah's going, what the freak is that? He said it was like a flying scroll. Well, I can dig that. If I've never saw an airplane before, how the hell would I describe that? You know how I would describe it? As a flying cross. Uh-oh. Don't be telling them that, Wayne. Moving right on along. And I can see my time is running out. So, all right, we got this. So we've got this other story that, and again, I always prepare more material than I have. But then we've got this prophecy. And associated with this prophecy, man, folks, this is a bag of shit. It stinks. It's the kind of stink that will make you gag. The problem is the bag won't keep shut. So apparently we got this shitstorm that's on us, and it's going to get a lot worse. And now I'm trying to figure out, all right, so what the hell's happening here? Are we going to be in a major world war? There are those who are already saying we are. Well, then I can take you to the book of Daniel, and I can show you that where in the allegory, it looks exactly what happens. And the thing about it is, we know what's going to happen. According to Daniel, the Russians get their ass kicked. They go back. Everybody in the West, man, they're digging it, man. I mean, they're passing the joints, and we've got, the party going on. Problem is, the bear only went back to basically to rehabilitate and to join with its partner. Who is that? Yeah, well, everyone's figured this one out. According to the book of Daniel, So are we seeing an invasion now from the astrals, from the ethereal realms manifesting into our realm? Is this really going to be that battle? Is this what we're being set up for? In this group, we don't even like to think that kind of crap. I mean, it's like, hey, but then again, it would be foolish and irresponsible of us to simply say, well, this is meaningless. Well, it may be meaningless to you, but for me, I can at least be intelligent enough to say, well, I can't dismiss that if some man who wrote something nearly 500 years ago saw something and gave the names to them and the times of their reign, how the hell did he do that? If he was tapping into the Akashic record, then we got another question for us. Because then that merely solidifies the fact that this is all a pre-program. I'd like to believe that if all futures that are yet to be existing and that we have before us an unlimited potentiality of possibilities, that within one of those possibilities, we get it right. We may be on the edge of the abyss looking into the great void, but we may be smart enough to join hands with one another and pull ourselves back from the precipice of oblivion. I believe we have that ability. Not saying it's going to be easy and it's a complete 180 of what's going on right now, but I believe that what I was taught, nothing is impossible for those who believe. All things are possible for him, her who believe. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. I can just go on and on. As a man sees himself, so he is. I can't think that if humanity is looking upon itself, that it sees such an ugly picture. I just can't see that. And Joe, to answer your question, because I believe that humanity is worth fighting for. I just don't think we know who our enemy is. And if it's as sad that it comes down that the enemy is us, to what end? To what end does that lead us to? Don't know. All right, folks. So thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I went a little bit over, but I look at the beauty of each one of your thoughts, that those are in the chat room, and those that you who take the time, and thank you, who write comments. Many times I like to get in playful debate, but I'm appreciative of that. I'm appreciative that all of you that come in here and listen, and because you will be my legacy. When I pass over, this will be my legacy. And who knows what happens after that. But anyway, I think every one of you are worth and not only to cherish, but to be able to prosper, to continue. I think I think we're all worth that. All right. So I shall depart. See you tomorrow with Miss Trina. And yeah, I love this group. I mean, this is where we can think and we can think out the aspects. And yeah, it may be ugly, but you know, I know what a little bit of makeup will do. And remember, as the late Marty Ballin with the Jefferson Airplane, you're only as pretty as you feel. Yeah. You're only pretty as you feel. I love that song. Ballot Brand, how are you, my friend? Man, appreciate you, brother. Really do. Get Money Jones, how are you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. So welcome. So Magick. Oasis, you are absolutely correct. It is magic. That's what makes it. What makes it possible. We love getting into the minutia of magic, but when it's really this simply, it's a matter of the manifestation of an intent. And if there's a group that pull in the same intent, wow, we got some serious shit going on there, baby. Just make sure you pass the joint. That's all I got to say. And if you don't, well, all right, that's fine. Namaste to you, Morning Star, everyone, as well. All right. Okay. As we continue this journey, we will definitely be talking again. All right.